If I lost everything tomorrow and had to start over with $20,000 or less, I would start a pest control company. Not because it's super exciting, but because it works. It's a low startup cost, it's a simple model, and it's a reoccurring revenue. And people always need pest control. In the next 20-25 minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what it costs, what 1,000 customers is worth, and the daily execution plan to land your first 100 accounts. Hey guys, I'm Jonas, Olson, the founder of Pest Badger. I've been in the service industry for 17 years, and in the last 5 years, we're going to pest control company from 1 location to 19 locations across 6 states, going into 7. I use this channel to document how I think about building and service businesses and what's actually working for us. I wish my mentors would have documented their journey, so I'm documenting mine for you. A lot of what I'm walking you through today comes straight out of the framework of my book, Zip Code Kings, where I break down how to dominate local markets one neighborhood at a time. Let's start with the entry cost in the pest control industry. The nice thing about pest control, it's a very, very low startup cost. And if you start out super lean, you can launch a pest control company for roughly $15,000 to $30,000 and probably even a lot less. With pest control, you have to be licensed in every single state, and every state is different. So go to your state's Department of Agriculture website and look up structural pest control licensing exams. Registration usually costs anywhere from $100 to a couple $100 for testing and some books, things like that. And then it can get into the thousands of dollars if you have to rent a license. Again, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on licensing. Just know that in pest control, to operate a business, you have to be a licensed operator. And again, every state's different. Next, we're going to jump into some insurance. You're going to need some general liability insurance and some commercial auto insurance. So you can expect to pay anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000 a year. Next, talk a little bit about equipment. You do not need to go buy the most expensive equipment right out of the gate. You can just go to your local hardware store and just buy some basic equipment. You can buy a backpack sprayer with a hand pump for $100, but you could also spend, let's go with $500-$600 on an electric backpack sprayer. And then I've seen people, a lot of people still use the big power sprayers that are thousands of dollars, but you do not need that. And I feel like a lot of that has been phased out over the past 5 years. A lot of people still use them. I'm saying you do not need them right away. Next, you're gonna need a hand can or a 1-gallon sprayer. Again, you can go buy a cheap one from your hardware store for $20 and then spend up to $500, $600, $700, $800 on a really, really nice one. Next, you can get a granular spreader, maybe even a web pull. Granular spreader, $20, $30. Web pull, looking at about $100. And then as far as some chemical inventory, I could say that you're gonna need some rodent bait stations at some point, but we don't need to talk a whole lot about that. But if you do sell an exclusion or some ice jobs or rodent jobs, you're gonna need some rodent bait stations. Well, your basic chemical inventory, I'm gonna say you could probably get fully operational for go with $3,000 to $7,000 for everything combined with the chemical inventory. I'm not going to tell you guys which chemical to buy. Just reach out to your local supplier, see what they have on hand, and just purchase it from them and make it super easy on yourself. Buy 1 gallon at a time or even smaller just to get you guys started. Talk a little bit about vehicles. If you already have a truck or a small van, you will not need to buy another one. But if you don't have a truck or a small van, you're probably going to want to get one. I mean, I've seen people actually run these at a bike route, so you don't even need a truck, but let's just go with the truck. You can get a nice truck or a van from anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000. To look very presentable. Again, you don't need to buy a brand new one. Buy a nice used one, 40, 50,000 miles or whatever. That'll get you from point A to point B. That'll last you a few years. I mean, I've had trucks in the past that had 250, 300,000 miles on them that were from the 1990s that when I first started out. So there's nothing wrong with that, just to get you started. Next, I'm moving a little bit into software. I'm going to create a whole video on all the software that you're going to need in pest control in a few weeks. But for now, I'm going to keep this super short. You're going to need some sort of CRM for scheduling, taking payments, again, routing, emails, text messages, talking to the customer facing stuff, things like that. You're going to need some sort of phone system. Could be very basic, just an app on your phone for now. Don't need to spend a whole lot of money. Again, and start a simple website. Don't go spend $10,000, $20,000 a website. Just get something the customer to go to that's easy to fill out a form. You can run ads to eventually, but just start out super cheap. You can spend anywhere from a couple $100 a month to $500 a month just to get you going. And that way you have a presence online. You do not need an office. Promise you don't need an office. That's the first thing people want to go do is they want to go buy an office or rent an office for some reason. I don't know why. I think it's just because it sounds cool that I have an office. Or they want to go get a warehouse. To this day, I push back on people like, why do you need a warehouse? For what reason? I have friends with 70 trucks that have no office. They have no warehouse. This can be ran out of your truck. And at first, you don't even need any admin staff at all. Again, you can build this business right out of your truck. Every state's different. Make sure you're talking to your Department of Ag to know the laws and regulations around where you know how you need to hold your chemicals in your truck, things like that. But for now, you can run this out of your garage, your home garage, or your truck. Now let me show you what each truck can produce. Let's talk about a little bit about revenue. Hold up, quick pause. If you're on a pest control company or fertilization weed control company, you're not in our Facebook group, you're choosing the harder path. Every operator that's in there is skipping years of mistakes because people are actually sharing what's working right now. So stop trying to brute force your way through growth alone. Search Pest Control Millionaires on Facebook or click the link below. And now let's get back to it. So for this video, I'm gonna talk about the median residential revenue per customer, and that sits around $418 per year. I'm not saying that I agree with this number. I'm just going off real data that says this is what it's been over the last few years. And it's been around $418 a year. So I'm gonna use, let's say in local markets today, from all over the country, they land between $400 and $500, depending on pricing. Again, I feel like that's way too low. But for this example, I'm gonna go with $450 a year per customer. So if you have 200 customers, it equals about $90,000. If you have 500 customers, that's $225,000. And if you have 1,000 customers, that equals about $450,000 a year. Now, let's just say you double that number and say you're charging $900 a customer. Now your business went from $450,000 to $900,000. So you pick your poison. I'm just giving you data that's out there. Now let me break this down for you. If you have 1,000 customers, you're sitting at roughly 250 services per quarter. And it's pretty heavy load for one truck. I've seen it done with as little as 2 trucks. And I'm not going to explain that model now, but I've seen it done. It's pretty cool. But just know you're going to need super tight routing. You can't just be driving around across town, wasting a bunch of windshield time. You got to sit in that neighborhood, like I said, and have 30, 40, 50, 60 jobs all in one neighborhood and not move. Operating margin for pest control sits around 52%, and then operating margin medium sits around 10%. So that's profit. Again, don't like that number, but that's what the averages are. So we're going to use that. So if you did, that $450,000 a year in profit, you're going to do about 10%. If you did $900,000, you do about 10%. Again, I'm not going to go down a rabbit hole about all this, but I'm just giving you some averages. Why pest control is so good. But realistically, if you're a solo operator and you're doing $250,000, $300,000 with one truck, you could probably do 25 to 35, up to 40, even 50% margins realistically once it's stabilized. And I've seen it happen a lot. They're doing $300,000 in revenue and they're paying themselves $150,000 to $200,000 a year. I've seen it happen. It's a great industry for that reason alone. Service businesses are one of those businesses that from day one, you can pay yourself very well. The problem is it's harder to scale because you need more people and it's a people-based business. So it just takes a lot longer than people are willing to wait to make more money. But with this industry, it's really cool because you can, like I said, with one truck, go out there and make $150,000 a year. Downfall of this is if you're making $150,000 a year, you kind of get stuck there because you're making really good money. You're not pushing it so hard. So people get stuck there for so many years because they just lived a comfortable life. And I've said this a million times on this channel. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to have a lifestyle business and that you work all the time, nothing wrong with that. But when you go to sell it, it's just not going to be worth a whole lot of money. Again, I'm going down a rabbit hole as usual. Just make sure that if you want to keep growing this thing, you start learning every single day how to grow the company and get out of your truck as fast as you possibly can. All right, so let's just recap kind of what it takes. First, you need to get licensed. Second, you got to get insurance. Third, buy only what you need. Do not overbuild. Do not go buy these big fancy sprayers. You don't need them. Said don't buy equipment that you don't use because I see a lot of people go to buy like these big heaters for bed bugs and they just sit there and they don't do anything with them when they can just go buy some product and go spray the bed bugs for now. Don't spend months on branding at first. I go back and forth on this one myself. Just get out there and get the work done. I have a friend, love you, buddy, that spent a whole year just working on his brand. And although it turned out amazing, He spent a whole year and he's like, dang, I should have started this a long time ago. And he just thought about it too much, but it ended up working good. I'm just saying, don't spend too much time. You can always redo the brand later. And then don't pick an entire city. Just pick one neighborhood of a couple hundred people, not 5. Just stay with one, if most 2 neighborhoods that are really close together with a lot of people in them. This is the entire premise behind the Zip Code Kings. You don't need to dominate the entire city your first year. You need to dominate zip codes. And density reduces drive time. Like I said, density increases your visibility because they see you all the time. And density, when they see you more, builds trust. Now let's move into a little bit of the daily execution that it takes to go execute all this work. I love this framework, and that's the Law of 100 that Alex Hormozi talks about all the time. If you're starting from 0, you have more time than you have money. So use your time wisely. Make sure you're doing that 100 conversations a day, knock 100 doors a day, put out 100 door hangers a day, put out 100 every door direct mailers a day, send 100 text messages a day, send 100 emails a day. Whatever it takes, do the Law of 100 every single day. 6 days a week. Some people don't want to work 7. The people who really don't want to make this swing work early on in the business, they're going to work 7 days a week, 365. I promise you that's what it takes. But if you do that for 30 days, that's basically 2,400 doors, 2,400 mailers, 2,400 door hangers. You guys get the point. 2,400 emails, texts, exactly. But you'll get customers because you're just doing the activity that is getting your name out there and you get in front of people. And that's what wins in this business. And when you do sell one of those houses, whether it's a friend or it's a neighbor or whether it's just a person that you randomly knocked or got from a door hanger, make sure you talk to every single neighbor around that person's house, right? So back in the day, we call these 9 rounds. You either knock, or if you don't want to knock, you put door hangers, 2 houses to the left, 2 houses to the right, and then 5 across the street. And if you do talk to a customer, do talk to a neighbor, just keep it super casual. Say, hey, we're servicing your neighbor, Sally Smith, today. And because my truck's in the area, I do this first initial service for you for XYZ price. Because my truck's already here, save you some money, saves me some time. Just keep it super simple and casual. Also, make sure you're putting a yard sign in every single lawn that you're doing. And if you have friends and family that you put lawn signs in there, make sure you're putting lawn signs in every single lawn that you can. Just be visible to everyone. After you get a customer and you get the neighbors and you get every customer that you get, make sure you ask for a referral or maybe even 5 before you leave. Hey, since my service looks so good for you, I did a good job, you're happy with me, do you have 5 people that I can reach out to that can also use my services? More than likely, they can give you 5, and I give you 1. Oh, I'll give you my sister's number. Cool. A lot of times they'll call them for you, or they'll walk you over the neighbor's house. It's very, very simple. It's not that hard. The hardest part is going from being a technician, because doing the work is super easy. Anyone can do this work. Getting the jobs is the hard part. And also, make sure from day one, you track everything inside your CRM from day one. I promise you that you'll thank me every day going forward if you start with CRM from day one. I remember when I launched my second business, my second location. I think the first day by myself, I got 3 accounts, sold those accounts on the doors, and then I also serviced those accounts as well. I didn't pick a whole, I knew this goal when I going into it, I didn't pick a whole city. Again, I narrowed it down to a few subdivisions, a few neighborhoods that had a couple hundred people. Like I said, the first day, I think I had 3 accounts. Second day, I think I had 7. By the second week, I want to say that I had, I'd say 25, I'd say closer to 50 jobs that second week. And by the end of the month, I had 200 or 300 jobs all in that same neighborhood. And I basically built an entire route, quarterly route, in one neighborhood, in one subdivision by itself. I wasn't driving all the way across town. I wasn't chasing random leads. I wasn't spending any money on ad spend at that time. But we stacked density, and we just kept working this area over and over and over. So if you pull up my map and saw my pins in the neighborhoods, we have the entire neighborhood where we could send, like I said, a truck in there for a couple days straight, right? Or a month straight, whatever it ended up being, a quarter straight. And then the trucks never moved. And the techs loved it because they're making more money. They're not having much windshield time. You're saving money on fuel. Saving money to your technicians to go from the gas station driving around. But just all to say, just keep working these area over and over and over again. And the more the people see you, the more they'll trust you. And I'm not going to go down again. Kind of repeating what I said, but just saying this stuff works. And again, 19 locations later in 7 states later, This strategy has not changed once. It works, and we're going to keep doing it until it doesn't work. Now, with all the good stuff we talked about, let's talk about what can go wrong, and I kind of already hinted at it. And this is what really kills a lot of operators. First is underpricing. They don't know what to charge, so they Google it, or they call XYZ pest control across the street and like, hey, what are they charging? And they're charging $89 a quarter because they've been doing it since 1950 and they never raised their prices. And it's like, oh, well, if he's charging $89 a quarter, I'm going to charge $79 a quarter. But now they're driving all the way across town, and they're the cheapest company in town. So now they're not only are they losing money by driving all over the place, they're not even making money on the job. And they don't even know the numbers, so they're just guessing. It typically just doesn't really work. As I've talked about a million times on this channel, the biggest companies out there are charging the most, have the nicest equipment, and have the best employees because they can pay them the most. So don't ever want to be the cheapest person in town. Although I get it, like the Walmart model. If this is a model that you want to run in the service industry, from day one, you have to know that this is your model. You can't go have 1,000 customers and then decide you're going to go to a premium model. If you're going to do the super cheap, super tight routes, you can go that model. I just don't like it. I like to be on the premium side, but I have seen that model work too. But you have to choose from day one what you want to be. And again, I'm going to lead more towards the premium side because going back to the same original numbers, 1,000 customers at $415, that's like $450,000. If you double that number, you're doing almost $1 million with that same amount of customers. So that's why I like it. But then the flip side is, so you can get as much, you can probably get way more people in those same areas by giving them lower prices. But again, take it for what it's worth. I like to be on the premium side. Next to say is not collecting payment information up front. And I don't know why the industry or why the service industry in general ever was like this, but you can't go get fuel and just be like, yeah, I'm just going to pay you a month later. Try that once at the gas station. Next thing you know, it'll be on Facebook with your picture on there. Have you guys seen this person? You guys see it all the time. Or go out to eat or whatever. You guys get the point. It's like, yeah, I'm just going to pay you later. Don't worry about that. I don't know how the service industry ever got to this point. But we're stopping it today. And if you haven't started your pest control business from day one, like I said, have a CRM and make sure that you're getting payment on file from day one. If not, you're going to do servicing for a month and then send me a check at the end of the month. Well, that's not how it works. It's hard to grow a business off accounts receivable. It's not possible. You got to pay for fuel. You got to pay for equipment. You got to pay for your product. Like, can't come all out of your pocket and then get paid later. It's just not how this industry is going to work anymore. Get payment up front, ACH, check, credit cards, whatever it takes. Get payment up front. And if they're not home and they don't have a card on file, just don't do the job. Wait till they get home. Wait till you call them. Get the card on file. I promise you guys will thank me later. And then next thing I see all the time is just trying to do too many services at once. Again, they're trying to offer every service under the sun. They're doing some pest control. They're doing some construction. They're doing some landscaping. They're doing whatever it possibly can. They're chasing down wolverines, whatever, trapping wolves, whatever. You guys get the point. Again, stick with one or two services. Get really good at those two services. Master those. As you guys scale, you guys can add on services later, but not until you get to at least, I'd say, $1 million, and then you can add on service. The next is just quitting too early. I see this happen all the time. Like, it's really, really hard. First 100 customers. Like, if you guys knew the amount of messages that I get on a daily basis, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, like, all the people are like, it is so hard to get customers. And I do get it. That's why I make these videos. Like, I've been there before. Everyone that's watching this channel has been there before. And it is hard. But so most people get their first, 25, 50 customers, 100 customers. And then they just kind of burn out. Like, I can't do this. I can't get more customers. Everyone around me is charging the super cheap. There's companies everywhere. I'm in Vegas or I'm in Texas. Like, there's companies everywhere. Like, I can't compete. And I get it. It is hard. But you got to put in the effort, like I talked about 10 minutes ago, of all the things you got to do for a long period of time to make this thing pay off. Again, not going to go down the rabbit hole of why pest control or service industry is so great, but it just does take a long time to grow. And as business owners, we want everything as fast as possible. We want to be to $100 million the next week, but it's just not how it works. It's the people who are willing to stay in this industry and endure as much pain as possible over the next 15, 20, 30 years that win. And yes, you can get paid very, very well the entire time. It takes a long time to get there. So again, pest control is simple. I didn't say that it was easy. If you knock doors, you're gonna have a whole street that doesn't answer. You're gonna get told no. You're gonna question yourself for the first 60 days, like, can I do this? You're probably gonna tell yourself that you can't do this. You're probably gonna be like, why am I knocking doors? Why am I doing these door hangers? Why am I doing postcards? Why am I spending this money? Why am I going in debt? Why am I borrowing money? It's normal, I promise you guys. But if you push through that phase and stay consistent, it starts to work. Yes, it's not gonna be easy. It is gonna be hard, but just stick with it. And your first 100 accounts should come from effort. Call every single person that you know. Text every single person that you know. Text your old job, text everyone, post on Facebook, post on LinkedIn, post in everything you can possible. It's free. Knock doors, go talk to businesses, layer awareness, go make free videos. Like, again, I don't need to go down this, but if you need help, get the book. We're gonna talk about all this stuff in the book. Make videos, you do it on your phone. It's free content. Look like that your business has a pulse, right? But then once you get your first 100, 150 customers, then you can start adding on like a Google review strategy. You can start spending a little bit of money maybe on some local service ads. If you wanted to, you can start targeting some Facebook ads. All those things will just help amplify the business and amplify the density. And again, pest control is not glamorous. It's not sexy. It doesn't look like a cool business from the outside, but it's reoccurring. It's stable. It's recession proof. It's been through COVID. It's been through many multiple market crashes. It's a very, very, very predictable industry, and that's why I love it. So if I had to start over tomorrow with $20,000, I would start here, get licensed, pick a neighborhood, execute the law of 100, 6-7 days a week. And if you're serious, comment your state below and I'll tell you what licensing looked like and what I'd focus on first. Have a pest-free day. I'll see you guys in the next video.